For Christ did not enter a sanctuary made with human hands that was only a copy of the true one. He entered heaven itself, now to appear for us in God's presence. Nor did he enter heaven to offer himself again and again, the way the high priest enters the most holy place every year with the blood that is not his own. Hebrews 9 and verse 24. Operating under open heaven. And in this one, I would like us to have a series that we are going to learn, and we shall call it Entering Heaven. The scripture that we have read is teaching us how to enter the heaven, or to enter the Holy Most Place, or to enter into the dominion or domain of God. And the other is saying, Jesus, when he was entering into heaven, he did not enter like high priests who entered the most holy place, which was a copy of the true things, with the blood that was not their own. But before we look at how did Jesus enter into heaven, the realm of God, so that we can borrow from him and enter into the realm of supernatural. The Bible there is saying he entered heaven now to appear for us in God's presence. Someone who has entered heaven appears, number one, appears before the presence of God. Number two, for many. So it is a double advantage to enter heaven or to access spiritual realms, especially the realm of the supernatural, of divinity of God, because you appear before God. But for many people, you appear before God for your family. You appear before God for the society. You appear before God for the nation. You appear before God for the believers. You appear before God for the church. And that is why you notice nowadays we are having very dry churches, because even the pastor has not accessed heaven. And the Bible says we are seated with him in heavenly places. So how do we enter into heaven? Entering heaven. Because we are here on earth, but you're supposed to be operating from heaven. In terms of dynamics, in terms of strategies, and in terms of fruit and manifestation. The book is teaching us that in verse Hebrews 9 and verse 12, he did not enter by means of the blood of goats and calves, but he entered the most holy place called heaven once for all by his own blood, so obtaining eternal redemption. So how did Jesus enter heaven? Number two, appear before God, appear in the presence of the Lord. And number three, represent many people. And number four, attain eternal redemption. by his blood. So meaning, if we are trying to access spiritual realms, first heaven, second heaven, third heaven, and then the realm of God, we operate from the heavenly places. We operate from the spiritual realms. We operate from supernatural atmosphere, where we are in the presence of the Lord, where we are advocating for many people, and where we are receiving, or we are attaining eternal redemption. We can only enter heaven, the realm of God, the kingdom territory of God, where only the frequencies of God operates there. We only access through the blood of Jesus Christ. And we need to take this a notch higher. We need to take it to another level. We need to take it to another level. That we must do everything possible to make sure we are not operating from the realm of the physical, using flesh, using skills, using carnal mind that is hostile towards God, where we trust in man. For it is not by power nor by might, but it's by the Spirit of the living God. Because cursed is the man that trusts in man, that depends and relies on flesh and strength of their bodies. So we must move out of the body and enter into heaven. Though we are here on earth, but we're supposed to operate from heaven. The only way to access the heavens, okay, we can put it this way. The only way to make heavens admit us, what we are calling operating at the open heaven. Now here you will not be operating at the open heaven, you will be operating from heaven. Because now this is in another level. Operating from heaven. Then at that point, we must see to it that we are using the blood of Jesus Christ. Praise Jesus Christ. Operating from heaven. Operating from heaven. We must make sure, there's something I was writing down before I forget. We must make sure and see to it that we are holding onto the brand of Jesus Christ. If we come to the gates of heavens, to the gate of spiritual realm, to the portals of the supernatural, the key that unlocks and permits us in and arouse us access, it is called the brand of Jesus Christ. Even Jesus himself, he came from heaven. Remember John 17? Yes, and even John testified saying that he came from heaven. But going back to heaven, he could not go back the way he came down. There was a requirement for him to use in going back. In going back, he was needed to carry his own brand. So even us accessing the heavens of our lives, where the realities are, equipment and tools and powers to manifest our purposes, we must access them using the brand of Jesus Christ.